Okay. Well, here we are. We're going to do round 2 of this because I had some technical issues and apparently the video was deleted. So if you are watching this for the second time, I apologize. Okay. So today, for homeschool support on Facebook Live, we are going to be talking about making the most out of your online resources. So, I'm going to show you just some of my favorite ways that I use our library card through the Berks County Library System to help with enhance our homeschooling experience. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to use an account, which is pretty easy. Here I'm on Spring Township Library page, but if you go to the Berks County, berkslibraries.org, I'm at our branch specifically, but you can just go to the main page, that'd be fine too. And you'll see this icon up top, the My Account. When you click on My Account, it will give you the option, if you already have an account, to sign in. If you need an account because you don't have one yet, you can do that here under My Account and register. Okay, so this is essentially what it will look like when you sign in. Now, one thing that you can do, and you have to do this at the library, is change your patron code account to homeschooling. If you are a homeschool family and you get out a lot of books, this can be useful because you can put more books on hold than a regular patron. So you can request to do that at your library. Now, what I want to show you though is down here under My Lists. One of the things that I use very often, although it's kind of empty right now, because we're sort of in the middle of a shift here from what we're doing for school, but personally. But here I have my list for books and materials for school, future lessons, natural sciences, and I created this one here, sciences-trees, to be a little bit more specific. So how do I use these? Well, I create these lists, and when you click on them, it will bring you to what you've saved. So here I have one book here. As a homeschooler, I am constantly getting a lot of materials out from the library. And I want to make sure that I do that as responsibly as possible. So I don't want a billion books laying around my house rather than being circulated throughout the county, because obviously, I want as many people as possible to benefit from these materials. So I don't want to keep them around for longer than necessary. And also it's just more to keep track of. The more you have, the more likely it is that something's going to get misplaced or lost or possibly even damaged, which obviously I don't want. So I create these lists in advance, sometimes a few weeks, sometimes up to a few months if I have my materials list ready to go for a few months. And I will then, as the time approaches, maybe a week or two before we get to whatever lesson subject this is, I'll go to my list and click on whatever the material is, and then I will request it. And you just do that by placing request, and then it will be ready to pick up at the library. Now, as far as how I find materials, I do that a few different ways. One is occasionally I'm using curriculum that has suggested materials, which is great. Another would be that if I have a specific subject, I'm going to run a search for it online, possibly. For instance, we're getting into fall. I pretty much ordered all my books already for fall for school, but I do have one here, Leaf Trouble. So I could always request that. So maybe I will use Pinterest, or I'll use a Google search. There's lots of great resources as far as other moms and bloggers and homeschool parents and teachers, and they have great book recommendations. And of course, there's librarians. So we love to be a resource as far as that goes and give recommendations for books. If we can't speak to it ourselves, we usually will do some research for you and let you know, give you some option. And you can also do your own research through the library system. And you want to do that here by searching, and you can do by keyword, browsing, an advanced search, e-sources. So I'm going to show you as far as keyword goes. Let's stick again with trees. Okay. So we have a couple different options. I'm just going to do something very general. 1 out of 10 of 2,308 items. So that's a lot. Obviously, you don't want to search through all of that. So you can narrow it down a bit. If you look here on the side, you can do it by subject, whether it's just trees here, which is likely going to be a combination of everything. And you have your option for nonfiction, audiobooks, picture books. You can narrow it down a bit. So let's say I want to do nonfiction for school purposes. And I want to pick for juvenile. Okay. And here we go. We have a couple different options here. Perfectly Peculiar Plants, Yosemite National Park, The Woolly Monkey Mysteries, The Quest to Save a Rainforest Species, and Yoga Storytime. So that's not quite what I'm looking for. So I'm going to undo juvenile. I'm going to undo nonfiction. Let's try narrowing it down a different way. Let's do preschool. There we go. Now we have 62 options. I want a book. Now we're down to 61. And I'm going to choose trees as the subject matter. Now I have 18 options to choose from. So now we're narrowing it down a little bit. And I can tell from looking here that we have a couple good picture books, some counting books, Tap the Magic Tree, A Friend for All Seasons. All of these look really good. And then if I find one that I like, you can always click on it and find out some more information, such as the summary. Robbie the Raccoon and his friends love Father Oak. So that looks cute. I'm going to add it to my for school, actually, because that's not so much science-y as much as cute. Oops. I did it in the wrong spot. There we go. Add to list. For school. All right. And down here you can even see recently viewed. So you have some options there as far as searching, as far as that's concerned. All right, the other thing I wanted to show you, and we'll go back here to our page this way, is under ebooks, music, and more. So if you go here, you'll see your options for ebooks, Overdrive, Libby, movies and music. And when you go to kids, you have some nice options. We have Overdrive Kids, which is a great resource. You can also get this as an app. Libby has plenty to choose from as far as teens especially, but I believe they do have some kids books. Overdrive and Libby they're connected. But if you go to Overdrive Kids specifically, you're going to see the layout is definitely catered towards children and teens, and you have a lot to choose from. And there you can categorize them. This could be a great way to get your teen, especially because we're not browsing as much in person. You can come browse at the Spring Township or West Lawn libraries, but we do ask that you're mindful of how much time you spend. But maybe you want to prepare before you go to the library, or you want to just get an ebook, an audiobook. You can investigate different options here. And there's lots to choose from. Very big name titles, all for free. Very convenient. The other, oops, go this way. Go back to kids here. The other item I like a lot is Power Kids. Power Kids is available as Pennsylvania's electronic library. It's part of Power Library, which has a lot of really cool adult things too. But one thing I appreciate very much for our younger ones is Bookflix, which has English and Spanish. I'm going to skip the intro. Okay, so for instance, what it will do is under Animals and Nature, you can look at these great subjects, and it will pair a nonfiction book with a fiction book. So here you can read the book, which is great, and then you can watch the story, and it's going to play it for you and read it to you. A nice little combination of getting some reading in for our early readers or younger readers, and then also being read too with little animated stories. And then there's additional puzzles and ways that you can safely dive deeper, explore the web, meet the creators. So there's Bookflix, which is pretty neat. Then there's also TrueFlix, which is catered a little bit towards our older kids. And you can do the same: watch, read, explore, find the truth. So if you go to Animal Kingdom, lots of true books with facts, and you can read and you can watch, which is great. Same thing, you have the ability to explore the subjects a little bit more online. A great safe way to allow your kids some time to research subjects with not having to worry so much about the supervision. Speaking of supervision, part of the e-resources at Power Library is also Cybersmart, staying safe online, which is just getting more and more important as time goes on. And it's something that really you can begin to talk to children about pretty early at this point. We're so dependent upon social media and the internet in general, and right now our children are probably spending more time online than they ever have, just due to the current social distancing or physical distancing circumstances. So it's a nice resource to be able to talk to your kids about different dangers and how they can protect themselves, whether that's from, using social networks or against cyberbullying and protecting our privacy online. And then there's an additional Teen Stopping Cyberbullying option there as well. So those are just a couple ways that I like to use our library. Usually, as far as using the library for homeschooling goes, we do a lot of in-person programs. Of course, right now, that's, much more difficult. Many of us in the Berks County Library System are not offering any programs just because of the pandemic. Hopefully that will not be the case for that much longer, and we'll be able to do it again. But as far as being able to really get the most out of the library and get some social activity in, it's such a great resource as far as that goes. So do take advantage of the story times for our younger ones, and we have things such as our libraries include teens, which is once a month with Miss Candace. There's a variety of different options, and many of them are online right now. And so there is still benefit to that, just to kind of get fresh material, fresh faces. For instance, the library includes teens. They're going to be trying to get some interaction there as far as cooking and crafting and things like that. So yeah, definitely check out what we have to offer now. But once we are meeting in person again, make sure that you're making full use of that as homeschool families. You can make some really great connections there and take advantage of all the free things that the library offers you. If you have any questions about anything I showed you today, please do feel free to comment below or contact me. And hopefully you learned a new tip or trick. Have a great day.